going to be done live. Can you imagine rappers on stage rapping with a percussionist right there on stage with them, doing the hard beats behind their different words and things that they're saying? You know what I'm saying? It takes everything and intensifies it more. It gives the people more adrenaline to say that that is a hot song, that is a hot concert. And that's what the percussion live does to the music. There's nothing else that you can do that's going to, whatever you do with your music and you put percussion on it, it's going to intensify it that much more.
Oh yeah. So tell us about your newest cover song that you played some of those cool instruments too on the background and just made the song 100 times better.
Well, the remix of the DJ Khaled song that I did, we basically just took his song and we put percussion to it, just minor percussion, not the intense percussion, just minor percussion. And a lot of the people that listened to the songs were saying, "You took that song to another level." And we just used whistles and spring drums, you know, aguicas and things like that. And even just the minor stuff took the song and made it sound even more like a live concert. And that's what we try to do with the music today. We take the songs and we work with artists and stuff and we make it sound live. And when they hear it on the recordings, you get the same duplication live when you see it done. You get a chance to see what that instrument does. You hear it, but you don't really see it being worked and stuff.
Right.
And you get a chance to really see it being worked, and then it's a whole nother flavor to the music.
Oh, that's awesome. So y'all gotta go check out on YouTube Ralph Page cover DJ Khaled. I did it. So that's where you'll see him with those different types of music and instruments. So we talked about your climax. So now we got to talk about the Great Fall because we all have them.
Hmm.
So at a point, you decline in playing music. So tell us what happened. So what made you stop playing music?
Depression.
Mm,
You know, I'm a manic depressive. You know,
mm,
been diagnosed, and sometimes, you know, as a kid, when I was a kid, I used to be out in the streets and stuff, and I would smoke the weed or drink, you know, just even as a kid, you know, would be with grown ups and stuff like that. So the self medication, you know, when things wasn't going right as I got older and I wasn't feeling good, I'd go out and have a drink or go out and hit a weed or something, you know, and it played with the depression that I was going through that was taking me down further and further and further, where I just got to a point where I didn't want to be around people. I just felt like everything that I done was useless,
mm.
you know. Spiritually was in bad shape, you know. And it wasn't until I say 7 or 8 years ago, you know, I never felt comfortable when I was in those predicaments.
Right.
You know, I knew it was something that I wasn't comfortable with, but you was already caught up with it. You know, so as I 5 or 6 years ago, or maybe seven, I started to get spiritually more closer to God and try to change my life. You know, I didn't want people to see me. You know, I would see a lady on the street and she walked past me. She grab her purse and want to clench it. You
Mm,
know, he looks like he'll snatch it or something. You know, it was
right.
it was different things like that that was taken from who I am. So I started to really get on my knees and try to get my life back together. I came to a homeless shelter and I met a lady who is a pastor, and she started helping me, working with me, and putting me into a better frame of mind. And when we on Sundays, I would go to her church, and it just so happened that she had kungas and some of the instruments that I played there, and it would allow me to be able, for the first time, to play in church,
Mm,
and to be able to worship and watch the people worship God.
mm,
And that has probably been one of the most biggest changes, because even though I would go to my friend's church or play here and play there, I wasn't consistent.
mm.
So there, like, you couldn't really lay around the shelter on Sundays. You had to go someplace. So I had to go with them, and eventually it got to be to a point where I couldn't wait till Sunday come so that I could go to church and play
Oh, wow.
and look at the people and worship and play the beats that God had put into me, installed into my hands. You know, I mean, the feeling was incredible.
Oh, wow.
I actually just did it the past Sunday, and it was the first time that I had played with these guys in a couple of years, and it was just like it was years ago. The feeling was so intense. We played an outdoor concert, and it was humongous. You know, the intensity of the beats and stuff back. You know, I mean, the people were looking at me like, "Whoa, he's back."
Wow.
You know, I mean, it's here it is again. You know, we're going through the same thing we went through years ago, and that has been one of the best healers for me. If ever I've been healed, it started to keep my mind away from other stuff. It takes the depression away, and you're doing something positive for God.
Wow.
You know, I mean, and it's probably been out of my career some of the highest highlights.
That's inspirational. Wow. Wow. So just tell us before we end, tell us your top 2 songs of all times that you've written or played.
Wow. I would have to say the ones that I feel the most, that I love them all. I love them all. I mean, each one of them has its own feeling and own personal meaning of what we done. My song and my friend Carl's favorite one, the video, is "Rule the World,"
Okay.
because that one meant a lot to me too, because it was written when I was on the street. I was staying on a property and like 30 acres by myself, and I got a chance to start my writing up again as I was coming off the streets homes. And I actually got a chance to film it with Carl when I was in a shelter.
Okay.
So it was the beginning of me. The first video that I did, it was like something totally new again. That song is very touching to me. I have to say also, "Beloved."
Okay.
"Beloved" is a very special song to me because that's where I went into the Bible. I'm a big fan of the Songs of Solomon.
Oh yeah, I've read that.
And I was able to take some of the verses from some of his poetry and write to it. And it makes every time I listen to it, it sounds like me and Solomon wrote that song together. It gives me that kind of frame of mind.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
So that one's special, but I would say the one that I like the most has been the song that my friend Tazone done for me, which is "Never Know."
Okay.
"Never Know" is probably the best song.
Yeah, and Never Know is out on Spotify. It's on YouTube. I've listened to them. So y'all make sure you check out Ralph Page on YouTube and Spotify and Facebook. We got so much more new music coming from you. I'm just excited to hear it all. So what's your final message that you want to leave to the listeners today?
Look out for us. Look out for Ralph Page. Look out for this percussion. This percussion is going to change the music game. You know, hopefully a lot of artists will start being able to bring this percussion into their music, and you tell me if the music is changing or not, because I'm pretty sure you're going to feel it. You won't be able to listen to those artists and just sit there and listen to them with no headphones anymore. You're going to want to jump. You're going to want to move. You're going to want to dance. Those beats are going to take you to another place that you've never been before you listen to them.
All right. That's what's up.